Thank you, Dan. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. My name is Abdelmajid Bouziane. I am a professor of education in charge of e-learning and digital transformation at the Faculty of Letters and Humanities, BNMSIC. I feel honored to chair the launch of this big event, which is funded by Stevens Initiative. I would like to welcome you all to this event, which brings together two universities, Kennesaw State University and Hassan II University of Casablanca, as hosted at the Faculty of Letters and Humanities, BNMSIC. These two universities have been working together on different projects for more than a decade. This particular project addresses a subject of interest for both institutions and by extension for the two countries involved. The title of the project is Women Leadership, Driving Change. With us together today, we have 5 leaders who will speak. And the first speaker is Dr. Abdelkader Gonigay, the Dean of the Faculty of Letters and Humanities, BNMSIC. Dr. Gonigay has witnessed many of joint programs with KSU, projects of the Community Museum, the participation of the theater troupe of Kennesaw State University in the Casablanca International University Theater, the participation of our faculty members and students in the year of Morocco last year, just to cite only a few. Dean Gonigay, the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Abdelmajid. Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the Faculty of Letters and Humanities, BNMSIC, Hassan II University, Casablanca, I would like to welcome you all in this inaugural event on the Stevens Initiative's grant on women leadership. This project is undertaken in close collaboration with our partner, Kennesaw State University. Here, special thanks are due to the Stevens Initiatives for their support. This collaborative project falls within our philosophy, which invites students to open up to other cultures and to acquire important soft skills in their personal and professional life. This project will offer them the opportunity to learn from other family experiences in both countries. We have the experience and the know-how in this kind of collaboration, particularly in the 2 international festivals we organize, the FETUC and the FIAV. We are confident that this project will be highly beneficial to our students, to our universities, and to the Morocco-American sociocultural relationship. In the end, in this brief word, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Idriss Wawisha, Minister of the Higher Education and Scientific Research, for his kind support. My warm thanks should go to Dr. Awatif Haya, President of the Hassan II University of Casablanca, and to Dr. Pamela Written, President of Kennesaw State University. Finally, I thank the faculty and the students of the both sizes for their readiness to bring this project fruition. My city, Casablanca, is honored to welcome and to thank all the attendees with us today in this webinar. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gonigay. Our next speaker is Dr. Idriss Wawisha, Minister Delegate to the Minister of National Education, Vocational Training, Higher Education and Scientific Research, in charge of higher education and scientific research. Before becoming a minister, Dr. Wawisha had been a professor at the Faculty of Letters and Humanities, Rabat, then a dean at the Faculty of Letters and Humanities in Meknes, then dean at Al Akhawain University, and before his current position. He was president of the Al Akhawain University. Minister Wawisha, it's an honor to have you among us, and thank you for accepting our invitation. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Abdul Majid. Greetings to all, particularly our American partners and our Moroccan actors and participants. I'm happy to participate in this important event on women's leadership for change driving. According to Keith Davis, leadership is the ability to persuade others to seek defined objectives enthusiastically. It is the human factor which binds a group together and motivates it towards goals. But my favorite definition is outstanding leadership is doing extraordinary things with ordinary people. So women are powerful agents of change. They are gradually making their leadership presence felt in entrepreneurship, administration, education, engineering, health, at regional, national, and global levels, including Morocco, of course. Women are constantly evolving and reaching new milestones across a wide spectrum of human activities in modern times. The world has witnessed the advent of women leaders such as Hillary Rodham Clinton, Indra Nooyi, Indira Gandhi, Oprah Winfrey, Theresa May, Christine Lagarde, Zulekha Nasri, Miriam Ben Saleh, Raja Sharqawi, to name but a few. In recent weeks or months, countries led by women have by and large responded to the coronavirus pandemic better than those led by men. Being female-led has provided countries with an advantage in the current crisis. We can find examples, edifying examples, in Germany, in New Zealand, in Taiwan, in Finland. For instance, New Zealand imposed a lockdown long before cases began to spin out of control. And Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern saying on March the 15th, it was time to go hard and to go early. So why cultivate leadership by women? One, machoism may be avoided. Two, conflict resolution and peace may become very high priorities. Three, hard work, strong resolve, and soft skills will serve the above two goals. Why international dimension? The world today is a village. We are all interconnected. Intercultural, interfaith competencies are highly needed. Other ways of seeing the world, of doing things, provide alternatives and best choices. And why the Stevens Initiative today? It is in memory of a late US ambassador to North Africa. It is in memory of a former Peace Corps volunteer in Morocco. And it is through virtual exchange a must in these times of highly reduced mobility. Important to focus on women today. In universities, generally, they're more hardworking and higher achievers. We, in terms of graduates at the university, every year in Morocco, we have around 62,000 graduates that are female, as opposed to 57,000 that are male in 2018, 2019. But it's not just the numbers. The higher achievers are far more females than they are male. So today I would like to commend Hassan II University, Faculty of Letters and Humanities at Benimsik, and Kennesaw State University for the initiative. I encourage the participating students to be open-minded, outgoing, curious, serious, considerate of the differences, willing and ready to move out of their comfort zones. Reserve your judgment till the end of the experience, till the end of the program. Thank you all for your participation and your valuable contributions that will allow us to overcome physical distances and maintain cultural dialogue and social interaction. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Wawisha. And just as you all know, to implement a program, we need funds. And the funds for this program came from Stephen's initiative. We have Christine Chow with us. I hope I have pronounced your name well. She is in the best position to talk about this program as she is managing director of the Stevens Initiative. Christine, thank you for accepting our program, and thank you for your input in the previous drafts of the program, because when we were shaping it, I'm sure that there have been a lot of interactions across. And the floor is yours, Christine. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Majid. Dear Minister Awisha, good morning. Dear Deputy Assistant Secretary Casagrande, dear President of Universities, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to have you here at this exciting launch event of the Women's Leadership Virtual Exchange led by Hassan II University of Casablanca and the Kennesaw State University. It is supported by the Stevens Initiative. The initiative is sponsored by the U.S. Department of State with funding provided by the U.S. government, and it is administered by the Aspen Institute. Additional funding is provided by the Bezos Family Foundation and the governments of Morocco and the United Arab Emirates. I would like to thank the government of Morocco for their generous contribution to expand virtual exchange, and to thank the Ministry of National Education, Vocational Training, Higher Education, and Scientific Research for their partnership and dedication to bring international experiences to youth. I would like to especially thank Mr. Mohammed Tahiri, Director of Higher Education at the Ministry. I would also like to extend my thanks to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Mr. Dries Aloui. I would also like to thank the U.S. Embassy and Ms. Davida McDonald, who has been an important partner as we empower institutions towards virtual exchange adoption. Lastly, I would like to recognize and thank the President of Hassan II University of Casablanca, Dr. Al-Latif Hayar, and the President of Kennesaw State University, Dr. Pamela Witten, for their support of virtual exchange and their commitment to global learning and campus internationalization. The Stevens Initiative is an international effort to bring global competence and career readiness skills for young people in the United States and in the Middle East and North Africa by growing and expanding the field of virtual exchange. The initiative is a lasting tribute to Ambassador Stevens, who dedicated his career to building bridges between people in the United States and the MENA region. U.S. Ambassador to Libya, J. Christopher Stevens, studied in Europe during high school and in college, and he served as a Peace Corps volunteer in Morocco. These experiences shaped his view of the world, and they fueled his curiosity and prepared him to be a diplomat of goodwill who earned the esteem of people wherever he served. The Hassan II University students and Kennesaw State University students are about to embark in a unique cross-cultural virtual exchange experience that will help them better understand women's leadership through research, analysis, and digital storytelling. They will explore women's leadership through a different lens and develop an appreciation for diversity while gaining global competence skills. To me, women's leadership means women are driving innovation in their communities and in their places of work. Women's leadership means including women in more management in leadership roles, driving transformation, whether in perspective or process or in decision-making. And that is why a program like this is so crucial, because it highlights the importance of the role of women leadership in young people as they are becoming emerging leaders of their own. We are honored to support our grantees, Hassan II University and Kennesaw State University, as they bring these life-changing virtual exchange experiences to youth. And we're looking forward to feeling inspired by the panel gathering our distinguished women speakers today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christine. Also, as you know, to implement a program like this, in addition to funds, we need leaders of the project. And I have two great leaders here who are hardworking because they are leading a program on leadership. I will give the floor to my colleague, Dr. Samira Argibi, who is a professor of linguistics and the English Department Studies Department and the English Studies Department head. Here she is talking to us as a leader of the leaders. That is the Hassan II University of Casablanca project manager. Please go ahead, Samira. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Professor Bouziane. Good afternoon, or rather good morning where you are. I am Samira Gibi, Professor of English and Linguistics at Faculty of Letters and Human Sciences, BOKEH, Hassan State University of Casablanca. So the project, as Professor Bouziane said, titled Women's Leadership Virtual Exchange, 200 youth share 200 digital stories in collaboration with Kennesaw State University, our partner since 2007, advances recognition of women leaders by sharing their stories online and developing global competency through virtual exchange. Through reflection and analysis within a gender-focused intercultural curriculum, undergraduate students will develop critical and creative thinking skills essential to succeed in today's global society. Moroccan students from our side, participants, male and female, will also better comprehend the challenges and the obstacles to enhancing women's rights and leadership roles in society. Dedicated faculty of Letters and Human Sciences, BOKEH teaching faculty have already started since October the 1st, teaching the linked courses. Paired faculty from both campuses meet virtually via Moodle platform throughout this semester to review and assess student progress. For this fall cohort, the teaching faculty is made up from our side of Dr. Abdelkader Sabir, here with us, Professor of Cultural Studies, Dr. Mohamed Siad, Professor of Gender Issues, Dr. Abdelaziz Boudla, Professor of Translation, and Dr. Ayoub Lotfi, Professor of Grammar and Writing, and they all belong to the Department of English. We have also Dr. Zineb Noui, Professor at ANSAM, and that's a School of Engineering in Casablanca, mainly helping with her expertise in communication and media study areas. Faculty of Letters and Human Sciences, BOKEH, has also assigned Ms. Hajar Okinide. She is one of our doctoral candidates as a full-time graduate assistant for this fall cohort 2020 to facilitate all virtual exchange activities, synchronous or asynchronous, including the creation of high-resolution photo stories and video stories. The lead project team here from our side in Morocco is composed of Dean Dr. Abdelkader Boungay, Dean of Faculty of Letters and Human Sciences, the finance and admin coordinator of this project, myself, Dr. Samira Gibi, Department of English Chair and Project Director, and Dr. Abdelkader Sabir, Vice Dean of Academic Affairs and also Academic Coordinator of the same project. We all manage and assist in carrying out all logistical support required to sustain the program during the period of performance at our faculty. Dr. Abdelmajid Bouziane, he is our faculty, that is Faculty of Letters and Human Sciences, BOKEH Moodle admin. He's really doing a great job and helps much with all technology issues, and together with Mr. Mohamed Ghali, who is our web designer and technology coordinating, they are all helping when it comes to technology issues, and they ensure that all technology is in place and work to ensure that all students complete the activities on time and with high resolution. So the Stevens Initiative is sponsored by the United States Department of State with funding provided by the United States government and is administered by the Aspen Institute. It is also supported by the Bezos Family Foundation and the governments of Morocco and the United Arab Emirates. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Samira. Last but not least, the other leader of leaders is Dr. Daniel Baraka. Dan is a professor of education in the Department of Interdisciplinary Studies. And here, just like Samira, he is talking to us as the leader of leaders. That is the Kennesaw State University Project Director. Dan, please go ahead. The floor is yours.
All right. Good morning and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today on women's leadership. As Majid said, my name is Dan Paraka, and I'm Professor of Interdisciplinary Studies at Kennesaw State University. I'm the project leader for the Women's Leadership Virtual Exchange, and I have over 30 years of experience in international education, leading global learning and intercultural competency initiatives. And my start, like Ambassador Stevens, was with the Peace Corps. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Sierra Leone. I'm honored to work with my colleagues in Morocco on this project, and I'm very proud of the talented and diverse team of educators working together here at KSU. Those faculty include Dr. Maya Hallward, Professor of Middle East Politics in the School of Conflict Management, Peace Building and Development. And she is teaching the course that is linked this semester. So her students are here in the audience participating today. And then also Dr. Natalia Jaramillo, who's Professor of Interdisciplinary Studies and Coordinator of Latin American and Latinx Studies at KSU. Dr. Laura Davis, Professor of Interdisciplinary Studies. Dr. Pamela Dembla, Associate Professor of Information Systems in the Coles College of Business. Dr. Laura Beth Dawes, Associate Professor of Communication in the School of Communication and Media. Gary Green, Executive Director of the Center for Sustainable Journalism. And Dr. Binbin John, Executive Director for the Division of Global Affairs and Professor of International Education, Leadership and Research. Also, Sharon Glasgow is our graduate research assistant with this project. She's a PhD student in conflict management, peace building, and development. KSU has a long history of collaboration with Hassan II University, which we're very proud of. You heard already some of the different projects and accomplishments that we have, including the creation of the BenMC Community Museum. But I wanted to mention especially that this partnership started in 2005 under the leadership of then President Betty Siegel and President Ramia Burkia of Hassan II University. So I think that exemplifies this strong leadership that we've had from women leaders at both institutions for quite a long time. So KSU is very excited to participate in this Stevens Initiative Virtual Exchange Project, bringing young people together in Morocco and the United States. We really believe that this initiative exemplifies the best practices for how 21st century higher education should be implemented. And for this project, our students are interviewing women leaders. So if you're in the audience and you're a woman leader and you're interested in being interviewed, please contact me. And if you're a student and you're interested in participating next semester in this project, also please contact me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan. Now, I would like to thank you all for your interesting input. It was a pleasure running this official launch of the big project between Hassan II University of Casablanca and Kennesaw State University. I wish you very good luck for the rest of the program today, and we look forward to seeing how the program will unfold in the future. Now, I hand it over to Manal El-Atir, the chair of the next panel. Manal, it's great to see you today. It's been a long time.
Great to see you too.
So it's over to you. Thank you very much indeed, and very good luck.
Thank you so much, Majid, for moderating this first part. And let me tell you how excited and honored I am to be here today. And I would like to especially thank our wonderful audience for being present with us. I know I can't see your faces, but we are so excited for you to be here. And all I have to say is be ready to be inspired. So as a first, I would like to thank again Minister Dries Awisha for partnering with us and being part with us, being here today with us and sharing your thoughts. And I would like to also thank Mrs. Caroline Casagrande for being here with us today. So thank you to all of our distinguished guests. And let's get started. So I would like to let you know that we have wonderful women with us today. And it was really important for us as we were preparing this panel with Samira and Dan that we wanted a representation of different fields. And so I have the pleasure to first introduce Deputy Assistant Secretary Carolyn Casagrande. So she is Deputy Assistant Secretary for Academic Programs in the U.S. Department of State, Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. And we are honored to have such a woman leader who will inspire us today with her journey as a lifelong public servant. So I will start with the first question. Can you tell us more about how you have helped lead the State Department to empower women around the world? Why is women leadership important in the United States? And before that, I would love if you can say first a word of who you are and let the audience kind of get to know you a little bit. Thank you.
Well,
and
good morning.
Sorry, Mrs. Carolyn, let me just make sure, I just want to, for the faces of the panelists to stay on, if the rest of you can, and so that the audience can have a chance to feel like we are in a real, a real panel. Thank you so much. And if the panelists can just have their video on and also unmute themselves. Thank you. Go ahead, Mrs. Casagrande.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is truly an honor to be here with such a distinguished group of individuals. And hello to all the women leaders around the world that have joined us today. I want to quickly thank my colleague at the Department of State, Josh Shen, who helped put this together, and tell you that we are so excited to have this opportunity to engage with you, even virtually. I know they always say diplomacy is the last 3 feet. But now we are, I guess, talking about the last 6 feet since we all have to stand apart. But it's nice to be with all of you today. My name is Caroline Casagrande. As you heard in my biography, I am a lifelong public servant. If you're familiar with the New Jersey states, I was in the legislature of the state of New Jersey for 8 years. I was the deputy leader. I am actually the youngest woman ever elected to the legislature in New Jersey, a position that still stands, although hopefully someone will come take that from me someday. I'm an attorney by trade. I am a mother. I have 3 beautiful children, and I am so blessed to be a United States diplomat working in the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. One of the questions I get all the time is, what is that bureau? What is the State Department doing with educational and cultural affairs? And the short answer is that we are providing life-changing experiences for tens of thousands of students, scholars, teachers, and professionals just like yourselves in a wide range of fields every year. Our programs in Morocco include English teaching, advising potential students about higher education. We're always welcoming everyone to consider getting yet another degree. I know you're getting degrees right now in the United States. And certainly we also do a multitude of academic, professional, sports, youth, cultural speaker programs. We have beautiful American spaces and American centers we encourage you to visit. And then programs like this one, the Stevens Initiative. And we'd like to thank the government of Morocco for their generous support and partnership, and thank the 2 universities represented here to help bring people together through virtual exchange. I'm also pleased to see that many of today's speakers are themselves alumni of our ECA Bureau programs, which you will all be. And if you want another reason to hold your head high, not that you don't have enough or to brag to your families tonight, you are participants in an ECA program, as is 1 in 3 world leaders we count among our alumni in the State Department Bureau of Educational Affairs. So those odds are pretty good that I'm speaking to quite a few world leaders out there in our seminar. I want to understand and talk about both Dr. Argabi and Dr. Awisha. Both are participants in our Fulbright program to conduct research in the United States. While I understand our wonderful moderator, Manal El-Atir, herself participated in the Fortune State Department Global Women's Mentoring Program for rising female professionals in business, government, and civil society. I also want to applaud Hassan II University's continued commitment to developing women leaders, including Dr. Hassana Chanawi, an IVLP, that's our International Visitor Leadership Program alumna, and a sterling example of a female pioneer in STEM. As the first woman in the Arab world to graduate with a degree in meteorology, she has been a leader to promote planetary science and astronomy in Morocco. Now, returning to your questions, one of our priorities at the State Department is to empower women to ensure greater peace and prosperity for all people, whether it's that woman becoming the next leader of a country or the next leader in a tech field. As the US National Security Strategy states, societies that empower women to participate fully in civic and economic life are more prosperous and peaceful. Last year, our Bureau committed over $25 million and reached over 150,000 women around the world in programs like this one, specifically designed to empower women and girls. Some of these programs are longstanding, like our Moderators Program, the International Visitor Leadership Program, celebrating its 80th year, which brings together people from around the world to take part in short professional study trips to the US. And others were launched recently to address critical needs, such as the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs, our newest initiative, which we created last year to help emerging women entrepreneurs. And I understand, very exciting, that the Academy of Women Entrepreneurs has recently launched in Morocco. Today, we continue fostering women's leadership to include mentorship opportunities for hundreds of rising women business stars, female athletes, and girls in STEM. The State Department also created a program for women leaders focused on promoting peace and security to help bring more women to the negotiating tables from around the world. As you heard in my background, I do come from politics, and in politics, at least in New Jersey, we used to have a saying, and that is, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. You can think about that for a minute. So we want to make sure women are always at the table. And this is all aligned with the Trump administration's Women, Peace, and Security Act. Just the acknowledgement that women are crucial to any peace and resolution process. And our Bureau is committed to supporting that priority. Thank you, and looking forward to a wonderful discussion.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Casagrande. And yes, indeed, I am a Fortune State alumna, and I am forever changed by it, have been inspired by amazing women. And this is why today it's important. It is a panel, but I assure you that there will be not only women, but also men changed by this panel from what you're going to share. So please, I want you to feel as comfortable as possible sharing your personal experience. And I want to move to Dr. Awatif Hayar, who we're so happy to have a woman leading this a major university, Hassan University of Casablanca. And Dr. Hayar is an innovator and an inventor. She's a first for many, many things. And I would like to give you the floor to tell us a little bit about how you see leadership, women leadership. What does that mean, especially in both the academia world today, where you stand, but also I know you've been a leader in the engineering field. So if you can tell us a little bit first, a little bit about you, and then we can kind of move to the question. Go ahead, Dr. Hayat, you can unmute yourself and.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the invitation. So, dear Minister, Professor Awisha, dear representative of the U.S. Embassy, also Mrs. Caroline Casagrande from the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs at U.S. Department of State, also Mrs. Shu from Stevens Initiative, and the president of Kennesaw State University, Dr. Pamela Witten, and also, of course, dear Dean of our Faculty of Letter and Humanities, Professor Gunigay, the Professor Bouziane, moderator and organizer of this webinar, also Professor Argibi and Professor Daniel Praka for behind, I would say, this collaboration and exchange between both our universities. So it's my great pleasure to be invited to talk in this distinguished panel about women leadership. So what to say about me? I'm an engineer. I am engineer, computer science engineer, and also energy, renewable energy engineer. And my PhD is on green telecommunication and how to make IT beneficial to the society. So I'm behind the Smart City initiative in Morocco, especially Smart City social and frugal Smart City approach. So I'm president of University Hassan II of Casablanca since last year. This 1 year and few months. So it's yes, what I can say about leadership is, for me, leadership is how to define leadership. So I would like to start from a quote from Steve Jobs, which says that innovation is what distinguishes between leaders and followers. So I believe in this definition of leadership. Indeed, for me, leadership is the ability to open new perspectives for others to change collectively their situation to a better one, and also encourage them to act to achieve success. So I insist on collective approach, as for me, success needs to be achieved collectively to be able to make a significant change in the society. And as innovation is also, to me, main characteristic of leader, I think that leadership can be developed through leadership education and training, and training young people to grow as a leader and acquire competencies and skills such as, for example, self-confidence, critical thinking, problem solving, open mind, positive attitude, etc. So this is, I believe really that these skills can be acquired through education. And as president of the university, I'm working with the deans and the director of our faculties and schools to implement programs such this one that is between our both universities, Kennesaw and Hassan II University, to promote leadership, especially women leadership, and to develop education program and also training and practice to promote women leadership.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hayar. And indeed, innovation is the key word. And I want to say that another innovator is Dr. Pamela Witten. I hope I'm not torturing your name. You will let me know how to pronounce it well. But she is the president of Kennesaw State University. And as a president, she has made improvement. She really improved the student education and the experience, and it had been her top priority. So I would love, Dr. Pamela, if you can tell us a little bit more about how you've been able to kind of see women leadership in your campus. What are some of the initiatives that you have, but also what does it mean to you personally? And please tell us a little bit more about yourself before you get started.
Sure, thank you. And you got it just right. I'm Pamela Witten with Kennesaw State University, and I certainly am delighted to be here this morning or this afternoon, of course, depending on where you are. I certainly want to thank Hassan II University for doing this important program to help us really see the powerful difference that can be made by really promoting and advocating for women leaders. I know we've got a lot of VIPs on this call, but I also think it's important to stress that the most important people on this call today are really our students, both across the ocean from us, as well as located in the U.S. as well. And so I want to do a special shout out to the KSU students. I might be biased, but they are exceptional students. If I'm very honest with you. I have been in higher education for a very, very long time. I earned a doctorate in the field of communication and then went on and was a regular old college professor for many years. I taught technology, communication classes. I was a very active researcher and looking at how we would use new technologies to deliver health services and impact health outcomes for folks. I did this for many years at Michigan State University before moving to the University of Georgia to become the provost, which in the US is the second in charge of a university. And then to my great honor, was invited in 2018 to join KSU as its president. And so I'm in my third year here as the president. And I think that maybe I'll pivot just a little bit and maybe make some generic comments about leadership, because I think it's very important when talking about these things, especially with lots of people that are in their formative years, in thinking about their own leadership roles, to kind of set some markers, particularly if you are a female or will be working for a female, someday in your future as well. And I think the first point that I would put out there for those watching today, particularly our students, is to really think while you're a student and try to comprehend the difference between leadership and management. And so many people conflate the two, and they are not the same thing. Often as a leader, you have to do management functions, but that doesn't mean they're the same thing. And so leadership really means, assuming or adopting the responsibility of looking and listening and assessing the situation, and then coming up with a vision or an overall destiny that you want your organization or your group to get to, versus management, which is important, but management is really the implementation of those things, the operationalizing and making those things actually happen. And so, at a higher education institution, of course, from our perspective, when I came in and looked around, your first and foremost goal is what you need to do to help your students be successful. And so you really need to think about what you put in place from a curricular perspective and resources for students, and how you get rid of roadblocks, and really listen to them to make sure that you're coming up with those things that you need. And of course, to be a great university, that means that you have exceptional faculty, frankly, leading the way with those students as well. And so that's an important part of what we do too. And then to be that successful university, of course, it also means that you really want to be promoting and fostering leadership across your institution. And that's where the programs that we're implementing come into play in terms of really promoting diversity, which includes expanding female leadership as well. You also have to understand the context. And so I would urge all our students to think about the workplaces and spaces that you'll go into. So the types of traits that you need to exhibit as a leader and the skills and the way you actually perform that role are very different in different contexts. So I would suggest, if you're in a context like the military, or if you're in a context maybe like an operating room, you want a very top-down type of leader in charge, right? You don't want everyone to have to stop and discuss the technique in the middle of your surgery, right? Somebody's got to actually be in charge, but that varies. And so then you get to a university where there's really very much the need for collaborative leadership, because you really need the expertise of those people in their specific disciplines that are providing the instruction for students, all the way to a brand new entrepreneurial startup where maybe you would benefit from the chaos of leadership, from everyone and people stepping on toes, and to really understand that. I would really recommend that everybody recognize that as you step into leadership roles, you are going to need to have a mindset of frankly, service and sacrifice. And I would suggest these days, thick skin as well. Social media has really changed the way that people behave and communicate with each other, and in some ways in wonderful ways, and in some ways not such wonderful ways as well. And you have to bring that into your understanding of leadership as well, and really apply and understand it from gender perspectives too. And then finally, I would say really walk in the door with a very, very strong moral compass and a sense of empathy, particularly in this day and age. I can't speak to the whole world, but I will say my own country, it's more important than ever that you work very hard to take into perspective and understand others' points of view. You still might have to make hard decisions, and everyone still isn't going to be happy, but you still have to take those points into view as well. And so I'll stop there and kind of close with those as kind of, I think, overview points that are important to consider when you're having discussion of leadership.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pamela, and thank you for recognizing and the students, because, and I know they probably took a lot of notes from what you said, because they will be doing a lot of work on researching and interviewing women. And as we move towards understanding also women in business, I would like to invite Sharon Mason. I think I said your name right. Sharon Mason, who is the president and CEO of the Cobb Chamber of Commerce. And Mason has more than 18 years of chamber and nonprofit leadership experience. And so Sharon, if you can share with us same thing, really your personal note about what leadership means to you, but also as you, through your work, when you think about women in leadership in business. So go ahead, Sharon.
Well, thank you. It is an honor to be with you all today, and thank you for each one of you for what you're doing to advance women leadership. This is a very important topic and, of course, near and dear to us as well. And so as a Chamber of Commerce, we're one of the largest in the Southeast, and we partner with many great organizations like KSU. Tell you what, Dr. Witten is doing an incredible job leading this university, and what she is doing is just taking it to new heights, and it's been instrumental in workforce and many other areas for entrepreneurship, many other areas. And so as a chamber, we work with many partners. We advance our economy. We also work with a lot of chambers across the state of Georgia and across the country in sharing ideas. And so our main purpose as a chamber is to advance this economy. And so included with that is cultivating leadership, and women leadership is a key priority for us. And so we have had a program called Cobb Executive Women, where we intentionally focus on the mentorship piece, intentionally focus on helping women with many challenges that they're going through, because it always, as a women leader, it is just like Pam said, it is a service and sacrifice just with any leader. And so it's great to have others that you can share with. And so there's many focuses for us, and also in our diversity and inclusion initiative of how do we mentor other leaders and help them get to their next level of leadership, help them get that kind of exposure. And that's something we're doing not only as a Chamber of Commerce in the state of Georgia, but across our country, of how do we help other chambers of commerce be that convener, be that source where you are not only inspiring women leaders, but you're helping develop them, providing them mentorship, providing that path, providing the leadership opportunities. And chambers of commerce truly do play a very unique role in that cultivation of leadership. And so we've seen many women leaders develop over the years, and a great privilege for us to be able to lead many of those mentorship programs and continue to focus on that. But it does a path to leadership for all women leaders. There's many steps that lead to that. So if you've got your end goal of where you want to be, or perhaps an idea of that, having someone to help you pave the way, having someone not to just mentor you, but sponsor you and push you along and tell you the hard truths that you need to hear, but also to show you and give you that kind of exposure and different leadership roles that will help test the waters for you in different areas. That is absolutely critical so that you can have a pathway to leadership. And so I encourage any organization, not just chambers of commerce, as you're looking for different roles and areas that you're involved in, looking for different women leaders that may not have had that experience to have a chance at trying different things, because that is a step in the direction to help you in growing as a leader. I think one of the biggest things for women leadership is the mentoring. And it's not just women mentoring other women, but men playing a role in that as well. I know personally, I have had many great mentors throughout my chamber career these last 20 years. And I've learned so much from both men and women who have done just that for me, given that the opportunities and help pave that way where you can have a chance to prove yourself and have a chance to really inspire others. And so I encourage all of us as leaders and as you're developing others in your different roles to be able to provide those opportunities as well. And as a female leader, there's going to be many challenges that come up, especially depending on what stage of life you're in. I'm a mother of a middle schooler, and so there's lots of hats that you have to wear. And so it's important that you seek out, there's no, I don't think balance is an accurate word, but you seek out work-life management where you can focus on what is key, the key priorities, and really having that vision to move forward. And so that means saying yes to what's most important in those areas. And then there may be some that you do later in life, or you pass it on to someone else that could really benefit from having that specific role. And I think that intentionality of time is critically important for all leaders, and especially women leaders, as you're juggling a lot of different hats to make sure that you're able to carry your organization's vision forward and your own personal vision forward, and focus on what your key priorities are as well.
Thank you so much, Sharon. I am all for mentoring, and it changed my life. And I know that one key thing that was very important is the fact that you always feel younger, that you have to have it all figured out. Like in your 20s, we're not in like this, we should be in exploration mode, but it's really like, what is my career and what do I do next? And then I remember, I have 3 kids as well. When I was pregnant, I was an entrepreneur, and I was pregnant with twins at the same moment I launched my business. And I remember how hard that was, that, you know, as a mother and as a woman, this juggling act, you don't have to have it all figured out and perfect, but the most important to remember is the journey. And in that, I want to give the floor to Mrs. Casagrande as one of America's top diplomat. And also, as you mentioned, Mrs. Casagrande is as a mother of 3, right? You are a leader. What does that mean to you? Not only as, you know, within your institution, but also within your household. What does that mean?
Well, certainly being a mom with a really important job and having 3 beautiful children who are my most important job, every day comes with a struggle, comes with a schedule. And so people say, how is that possible? Number one, I have been very blessed. I have a wonderful, supportive husband who has always made sure that, you know, our duties are shared and our dreams are realized together. And so that has made my life a little bit easier. But I think every day, and actually I'm going to talk a little bit about one of my ECA exchanges. I'm actually a double alumni of the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. I did one exchange to Nepal as a young elected leader. And I did another exchange to the East-West Center, where we studied India with 30 parliamentarians through Asia. But when I went to Nepal, I remember I only had one child at the time, and he was young, and I had to leave for several weeks to go to Nepal, and I was very upset. And they were drafting their constitution at the time, and I met a woman who was a leader of a political party in Nepal, and I remember we were sitting on a street corner, and I was very upset just having left my child. And I said, you know, how do you leave your child for such a long amount of time? How is this possible? Because they had to be in Kathmandu for the drafting of the Constitution. And she told me, I think about, of course, my child, he's with my parents, but I also think about my country. And I think that I need to be part of this discussion to lead my nation, which is just as important as my family. And she left a real lasting impression on me. I guess that's the power of an exchange, like we're doing today, and the power of women leadership, because we are often called to make really difficult decisions. And so at no point is it easy, but at no point is it not worth it. And I want to say something, you know, to the women out there, because often throughout your career, and I used to teach women in politics at Rutgers, and one of the first things that you learn, you know, when you're teaching women in politics is women have to be asked to run for office most of the time. While most men will put their hand up and say, me. The same thing with a raise. Often by the time a woman asks for a raise, she's about 9 months past where she should have asked for a raise. And so I would encourage all the women to think about changing how they think about themselves. That's the first thing, right? Because what is a leader? They inspire, they get people to do hard things. They're great communicators. That's really key. But to get all of those skills together, you have to think of yourself first as someone who can do that. And so I encourage every woman listening today to think about themselves as someone who knows that's possible for themselves. The first time I ran for office, everybody told me to sit down, maybe go run for a school board. I didn't belong in a legislature. I was too young. There was no way I was going to win. And I don't know if they would have said that to me if I was a younger male. Maybe they would have. I'm not sure. But it was that confidence that I knew I could do it. I knew I had ideas worthwhile. And the reason that it's critical that women volunteer for these jobs and women throw their hand up for these jobs is because people work on what they know. They know their perspective. And if you are missing the perspective of half the population, you're missing a tremendous amount of talent. And you're missing the diversity of opinion that leads to greatness. We know it. It's not a secret that makes everything stronger. So I encourage them not only for themselves and their families, and I'm sure your families will be very proud of everything you do, but also for their countries, for their businesses, because those opinions do make everything stronger.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Casagrande. It's always great when we're able to give the audience these real examples, because I remember as a young person, you really truly relate to that. And I think, thank you for doing that. And I want to move to Dr. Hayar Awatif. If you can tell us a little bit more about today at the University of Hassan de Casablanca, how do you help promote the importance of women's leadership? What are some of the things that you do at the university to promote that? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So promoting women leadership is a very important axis in our strategy. So in the strategy of development for the development of our university, inclusion and diversity are one of the 5 pillars. In addition to innovation, international outlook, etc. So also this strategy implementation is done through encouragement of female through gender parity and gender diversity dedicated programs, as I said before, such as this one between Faculty of Letters and Humanities in BNMSIC, and also other faculties. They are organizing webinars, programs that are open to male and female students to promote women leadership. Also, as the first thing I have done when I was appointed as a president, and in my first university council, I have supported the creation of Gender and Equality Commission at the University Council. It was very important for me to support the creation of this commission so that we can work together to promote gender equality and inclusion in the university space and life. Also, I'm very supporting digital inclusion because this is something very important for women leadership. And for example, we have with master and licensed students from our university, we have developed a project for digital education for women in rural area, and this is for us was very important to help women in the rural area to be able to open a business through digital and to have the opportunity to have a job. And this something was very important, especially during the pandemic of COVID-19 and the lockdown. It was very important to have a continuity of the economy, and through digital platforms. This is something that as a computer science engineer and also now as president of our university, I'm trying to promote really digital inclusion, because I believe that this is one tool to promote woman visibility, woman inclusion, and also woman leadership. Also, we are supporting international collaboration programs like Target. Target is one program supported by European Commission, and the objective is to promote equity and gender equality in the society in general. And we are supporting this program and supporting the organization of webinars, also through the last I, 5I strategy. The last I, as I have said, is inclusion, and through this the inclusion poll, we have organized many webinars and also open courses for students. I really believe that we need to work with male and female, because we are in Oriental society, and it's very important to educate male and female students to believe and to accept participation of women in the economy, in decision making. So this is something that we are strongly working on with the deans and the directors of our faculties. And also I would like to congratulate again the faculty of BMSIC, Faculty of Letters and Humanities of BMSIC, and the organizing committee, because they are really doing a great job in promoting leadership, women leadership. This is not the first webinar. They have organized many webinars to promote women leadership. Professor Gibi, Professor Bouziane, and of course Dean Professor Gunigay. Thank you very much, because really you are helping me and helping our university to implement I don't want to talk about gender inclusion, because we have already half of students, they are female. But what we want is to encourage these students, female students, to go beyond that and to be leaders. This is what we want, is how to accompany our students to be leaders, to take it's it's not easy to take the initiative and candidate, for example, for decision-making positions, and it's not easy. It's not easy in our societies. This is why we're really working to encourage professors and also students to take this I would say step, and we are supporting them. And mentoring is very important. Mentoring is very important, and I would like to ask my colleague, Professor, the president of Kennesaw University, and colleagues from Kennesaw, to have joint programs, for mentoring and mentoring our female students, our professors, so that because through this connection between Moroccan universities, Moroccan society, and American university, American societies, this mix of cultural mix is very important to open mind and to open new perspectives to our students and professors. So thank you very much again for this great initiative, and I am fully supporting this collaboration, and I hope to welcome you, I would say face to face in Casablanca. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's why I said Dr. Hayat is an inventor and an innovator. Right there, she invited for a program in mentoring, which is excellent. And I just wanted to talk about the idea. This is why I'm so excited about this program, because the students are going to acquire those leadership skills. They're going to have to work with Moroccan and US students are going to work together in teams to actually explore women leadership, not only like the difference between US and Morocco, but what you just mentioned, women leadership in rural, in urban. So I'm so excited about this program that these both universities are leading. And I wanted to, this is a nice transition to Dr. Pamela, to just give us a sense about at KSU, I know you've touched upon this in the beginning. What are, some of the things that the university is doing? Why is it important to promote women's leadership, regardless of gender, obviously?
Thank you. Yeah. So I think if you asked leaders of most large universities, frankly, you would hear, it would be repetitive. You would hear a lot of the same types of things that we're all doing, and they're all important. And so I don't want to be too redundant with the answer that was just given. So I'll just outline, just a few things. So first of all, one of the things we've done is basically, if you will, started over again with our Office of Diversity and Inclusion at the university, which several years ago, we probably weren't as assertive and aggressive and proactive as we could have been in general with a range of diversity and inclusion issues. And so we did a national search and hired a very strong leader, Dr. Sylvia Carey Butler, who joined us about 1.5 years ago. And there are a broad array of new programs that are being launched from that office in many areas related to diversity and inclusion. But certainly some are focused on gender. And so, for example, we have programs at the university now for fostering or creating networks for female leaders at both the faculty level and the staff level that have been rolled out for the university. But we continue to see the problems that we see at all universities, at least in the U.S. I can't speak to overseas, and that is, as we work to more aggressively have a better mix of faculty that are male and female, and as we work more aggressively to make sure that our female faculty and minority faculty are frankly promoted at the same rates, tenured and promoted at the same rates as faster than their male counterparts. We still have challenges often in getting women to be willing to step into some of these positions. And so, at a U.S. university, a department chair and associate dean is typically the first kind of middle management level, if you will, or middle leader that faculty can go into. And it's really difficult. It's an ongoing challenge. And, many women will say, I just don't need the hassle, because leadership in universities is one of the strengths is that we're very open and everyone says everything they want. And one of the challenges is that often means that people who step into leadership positions really get beat up by others as well. And so there's a resistance for that, and I'm sure many personal reasons as well. But we have a real challenge to work to get many of our female faculty to get into the pipeline so they can progress through the leadership roles as well at a university, and I think you would see that at all universities as well. But you have to also put things in play, and frankly you have to lead by example. And so Kennesaw State is considered a very large university in the United States. We have over 41,000 students now. We are one of the only handful of very large universities in the United States where our president and our provost are both women at our university. And the president's cabinet, which is the senior level vice presidents for the university, is over 50% female now at Kennesaw State. And that's new. That wasn't the case a couple of years ago as well. So, much of the initiative, frankly, has to be related to walking the walk in terms of, identifying, recognizing, and putting those people in positions as well to foster further leadership by women throughout the university as well.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pamela. And I think one of the things about thick skin, I've learned throughout my years that, and especially I've had 2 mentors in the Fortune State Department program. I've had Kathy Vidal, and I've also had Patty Sellers. And one of the things is not being afraid to embrace your power. I think the word, whenever we say powerful, it's just not associated with women. And I see it in my community. A lot of the time it's just not a word we use. And it's just like, how do you embrace your own power first? And I think that helps a lot in feeling and more self-confident. And I think I want to explore this question, Sharon, with you in terms of in your area of work. And we know that women leadership matters in business. We know that it gives us better results, better performance, and we've seen it. So, but how does it play in your area of work? Why is it important to promote that?
Absolutely important. And as we see, and I think this is a trend across the country and across the globe, is there are some industries that are more dominated by males. And so I know more females are coming out and getting into leadership roles, getting into elected office. I know Caroline touched on that, getting into being entrepreneurs and starting their business, but across the board, there's still a gap there of needing, across many industries, needing to see more women leaders step up. And so that's been a big initiative for us through our Chamber's Diversity and Inclusion Council. One of them is focusing on female leaders and helping more to start their business, in helping more companies have these types of programs. So like Dr. Witten has at KSU, where she's cultivating so many leaders at KSU, not only on our faculty, but with our students, helping more businesses to do just that and cultivate leaders within their own organization and follow the great model of organizations like Dr. Witten's. And we're seeing more businesses do that. So we're trying to provide the toolkit, the resources for businesses of all sizes to help them have those types of programs where they can develop leaders within, because there's many steps that need to be taken to develop leaders, and giving opportunities, giving leadership roles along the way, and preparing for that step that they need to be in. And I mentioned the mentorship, I mentioned many other aspects of that. And so helping CEOs have those type of tools so they can cultivate leaders and develop them from within their own organization. And I think that's going to help us with our pipeline of female leaders moving forward as well.
Thank you so much, Sharon. I want to remind our wonderful audience that if they have questions, we will have some time for some Q&A, so please put those in. And I want to, and this is our last question. I know we're tight on time. Mrs. Casagrande, why is it important for women to be active leaders in society? If you can just tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. Well, I mean, the United States works on programs like this because we know that when women are empowered, communities are safer and countries are more stable. And we also know that women's voices are critical to global security and peace. One of the highlights at the Department of State every year is the International Women of Courage Award. And we recognize brave women from around the entire globe who advocate for peace, justice, human rights, gender equality, women's empowerment. And the stories of our International Women in Courage are incredible. The great personal risks and sacrifice that they make in their quest for advocacy are just extraordinary. We also know that bringing women formally into the economic fabric of a society results in very real, very tangible benefits. For example, we know that closing the gender gap in labor markets would increase the worldwide GDP by as much as 28 trillion by 2025. And we also know that it's important that we have these types of exchanges that we're doing today through the Stevens Initiative so that we can encourage women to build these networks, to gain these skills, to seek the mentors, everything we heard about today, to use the role models, to break the barriers, all the women who are here today seeking opportunities. We know that through these programs, we will definitely be building more active leadership. We will be getting closer to closing the gender gap in the labor market. And that means a more peaceful and certainly a more prosperous world.
So Mrs. Casagrande, this is a question that when I was 20 years old, I just appreciated in panels. If you had to give an advice to your 20-year-old self, what would it be? I know it's a generic one, but I know I always loved it.
It's a great question. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. You're going to be, I think one of the things I was most surprised at when I came out of law school, I was a law clerk. And a law clerk in America writes a judge's opinions. And prior to that, I'd always been in school. And, the women were valedictorians and the women, I was student body president. I mean, we were in charge of a lot and there wasn't a tremendous amount of disparity. But when I started practicing law, and perhaps, it is a male dominated field, I was surprised a little bit at what people's perception of my competence was without me opening my mouth. So I had to kind of learn that I had to believe in myself very strongly, that there were going to be people who maybe didn't believe in me as strongly as I believed in myself, and that would carry me through. So my words to the wonderful young women in the audience are, as you go forth into the workforce, you may be surprised at some of what comes at you, but never for 1 second forget how strong and thoughtful and hardworking you are, and keep pushing forward.
Thank you so much for this advice. Dr. Awatif, can you tell us what is this advice that you would give your 20-year-old self?
Yeah.
And valid for women and men.
Yeah, yes, okay. So thank you, Ms. Manali Latir. Thank you very much for this wonderful moderation of this great panel. Yes, maybe in addition to what Ms. Caroline Casagrande has said, is which is believe in yourself. This is very important, but also perseverance, to perseverate. This is very, very important for male and female. It's important because you will face a lot of obstacles, a lot of people that will not believe in you, don't trust you, but just believe in yourself, believe in your dream, I would say, and you will for sure one day achieve your goal and be what you want to be. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Awatif. Dr. Pamela, what is this advice that you will give your 20-year-old self?
Well, what I would tell my 20-year-old self is the opposite of what most people say today. And that is, the normal advice you hear from folks is be selective, pick and choose the things you do. And the advice that I would give to my 20-year-old self, or the 20-year-olds that are watching today, is don't say no to anything. That is how you are going to find the things that you like and don't like in life. And so that's what saved me when I was your age. I was doing very well, thought I was going to be a CPA, spent a summer interning in an accounting firm, and went, good Lord, no, that's not for me. It was also an opportunity later on where I got to get in a field and work in healthcare with some technology that made me realize, oh, that's absolutely the direction to go. But all the things that I have not said no to, many of them have actually put me on the right path to things. So I know it keeps you busy, but I would tell all of you to seek and accept every good opportunity you get, because it really will put you in directions you would never have estimated. I would never have guessed that I would have ended up as a president of a university when I was your age. And so take those opportunities and paths, and good things will happen.
Thank you, Dr. Pamela. I totally agree. I was supposed to be a chemical engineer until my lab professor. I used to burn hair, like water was everywhere. My lab professor came to me and said, is this the right field for you? But this idea of not being stuck, right? Or defined by, but what society tells you to be what is successful is so keen. And I think as a young person, you don't see that because that's just all that you've been taking all the years throughout your education. So thank you so much for highlighting that. Sharon, let us know what is the advice you want to give your 20-year-old self.
So a couple of things. First, embrace criticism as a gift. The earlier you embrace it, the more you're going to learn and grow, both personally and professionally. Also, I know I mentioned this earlier, but it can't be said enough about seek mentors, seek your own mentors. And I think having several mentors that meet different needs that are very diverse is extremely helpful, but also continue to be a mentor to others, bring others along, continue to look for ways, no matter how old you are, you can always be a mentor to someone else to help them pave their path and help them with their next level of growth and providing those opportunities. And then I would just say be intentional with your time, with your goals and priorities to make sure that you're meeting those and taking advantage of every opportunity. I think I have some similar stories as Dr. Witten, where I did not know I was going to end up here as well, but had a lot of different opportunities along the way, and they led me to this path, and greatly enjoy this because we get to make a very big difference. And so I think the final thing would be find your passion. And sometimes that's going to be, you're going to try a lot of different things to figure that out along the way. But I know I truly have found my passion in the Chamber of Commerce world, where we get to help people personally and businesses grow and advance this economy and really get to make a difference. And so when you're so passionate about what you do, you don't realize how much you're working, because you're greatly enjoying every minute of it, and it makes a big difference. And you can make a bigger difference by just loving what you do and being so passionate about it.
Thank you so much, Sharon. I hope the audience is as energized as I am. I feel like I am ready to take the world. I honestly, all of you panelists, all of you distinguished guests, thank you so much for this input. It's always hard in a panel to get everybody to be comfortable and share the personal things. So I'm so grateful for that, for all of you. But we're not done yet. I really, really hope that we can take some questions from the audience. And I believe, who is going to help me with that? Abdelkader Sabil, right? Is going to help me with the questions. Can we get some questions from the audience, please?
Okay, here we go.
Yes.
We have a question from a colleague from Hassan Second University. That's Jalila Smehi. She says, how could you help and what would you suggest to build up leadership in the context of civil society? This is open to everyone. Well, I guess we pick up just 3 of these and then
2, yeah, just for time.
Okay, so another one. Shall I repeat the question?
Yeah. So
okay, how could you help? This is it falls within the same set of advice you gave or the panelists gave. How could you help and what would you suggest to build up leadership in the context of civil society? This is one.
All right. So Abdelkader, let's somebody from the panel want to address this one? Phil,
this one is addressed directly to Professor Awatif.
Oh, perfect then.
Okay,
perfect.
To the president of the school, of the
Go ahead,
university.
Dr. Hayat.
Okay, go ahead.
Hayar.
Yeah, thank you very much, my colleague, Professor Jalila Smehi. I will maybe focus on women leadership in civil society. So through our strategy of University Hassan II of Casablanca, we are encouraging our students and families in association and accompany association in order to promote this woman leadership approach and also to promote gender inclusion and equity in general. And this is important for us because we in our universities and schools we have half female, half males. But when male. But when we go to the I would say positions in companies, in administration, maybe we have half also. But in companies, in economic sector, in decision-making position, we will find a very few women. This is important that the civil society play a role, an important role in promoting gender approach and women leadership. And this is why we have to accompany association and civil society to be prepared and mentored to relay, I would say, this idea in the society and in the public opinion. So as university, as promoting citizenship, because this is one of our value, citizenship we are working on. We are really supporting our and encouraging our students to act in the society with the civil association, with civil society association, as I have said, and also our professors. They are organizing a lot of open conferences and debate with the civil society. For example, we have organized last September 2019 a webinar on citizenship and how the university can play a big role in promoting citizenship and, of course, gender approach in the society. So this is what I can say from our university perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hayar.
Yeah.
Dr. Maya or Sabil, can we get another question?
Okay.
Yes.
Maya, go ahead, Maya.
I think there have been a number of questions from the audience regarding what are some of the actions we can take? What are the most important changes, whether they be legal, policy, cultural, economic, to address some of the challenges to enhance women's leadership in Morocco and in the US? And there's also a question here regarding what is the role for men in this kind of change? We focused a lot on women leaders and what women can do. And there have been several questions about the role of men in this process.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Maya. Anybody wants to take the first question? Dr. Pamela, Dr. Kas, anybody wants? Dr. Pamela, do you want to go ahead?
I'll just jump in quickly. You know, that's of course is a very large, complicated question, and of course it depends on what the outcome is that you're seeking. So certainly there are legal and regulatory and policy issues regard to this. But I would actually answer the other way, and I would say that we talk a lot about the formal leadership, right? So by that I mean the positions that we have. You have 2 university presidents that are on this call. You have an executive director of an economic development organization, in essence, through Sharon Mason and others on the call. But we cannot overestimate the importance of the informal leadership that goes on as well. And I think that what often really kind of moves the rock a little uphill is the informal leadership. When you all step up and go, okay, there's a specific initiative or project or cause or case or individual that needs support in some way, and step up with some of those specific leadership skills to make a difference in that way as well. And so just because you are not necessarily in a formal leadership designated position right now, although I know many of you will be at some point, before you get to that point, your life needs to be a sequence of many examples of informal leadership to really affect change as well.
Thank you so much. Mrs. Casagrande, did you want to address the second question on the role of men? The role for men?
Of course. It's important that everybody be rowing in the same direction, right? Nothing great is ever accomplished without an acknowledgement that we need everybody focused on an issue. And so certainly making sure that your male colleagues, wherever you are supportive. And I think that by and large, you do see that throughout society. So I think making sure, nothing great is ever done, me versus you, us versus them. It's always best when everyone is together. And so I think that's a really better way to think about it.
Thank you. Sharon, do you want to add to that, please?
Yeah, I completely agree. Rowing in the same direction is critical. And also men play a very critical role in being mentors and championing women leaders and shepherding them along the way. I think in a lot of organizations, that's been a major mentor opportunity for many female leaders. And I've had some great male mentors that have helped me along the way as well. So I think really seeking out for all of us and seeking out who we want to champion and develop, and that includes men of doing the same thing. They can play a very critical role, especially in that area.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much we would probably applaud. I know that online it's not the same, but you probably have a standing ovation. Thank you so much for your presence here with us and for all your valuable information and advice. It's been really an honor moderating this panel. And I would like to just take a picture, if that's okay. So if everybody can put their camera on, and I will give the floor to Samira and Dan to kind of give the final word. So get ready and smile. There you go. Got it. All right, Samira, the floor is yours.
Oh, you're not muted, unmuted.
Oh, Samira, you're muted.
Microphone, okay.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Okay, so we thank, of course, Stephen's initiative for supporting and funding our virtual exchange projects, which has provided youth in the United States and also in our country, Morocco, with this very important and precious opportunity. My sincere thanks should go to the Minister, Dr. Idriss Awisha. And by the way, he was my professor. And I'm really proud that in this panel, I can see him in this panel. So I really thank him very much for accepting our invitation. I also thank our president of Hassan II University of Casablanca, Dr. Alatif Haya, for her support and encouragement. I also thank Dr. Al-Qadir Bungay, Dean of our faculty, our partners of course in KSU, and all my colleagues in the English department and admin staff in our faculty. They've done really great job. Mainly, I would like to thank in person the General Secretary, Mr. Abdeltaif Mortaji, for their support and encouragement. Thank you to all who attended our webinar. And I would like to thank also all the panelists for having accepted our invitation to this webinar, to this kickoff event, actually for our exchange virtual project. We enjoyed listening to your leadership stories. Thank you for telling us your experiences as women leaders, and look forward to a continued fruitful collaboration. Thank you very much. I leave the floor to my colleague, Dan Park.
I just want to add my thanks to everyone. We have an amazing team at KSU, the faculty and staff who are part of this project have been working hard for a very long time to bring all of the pieces together. So I'm especially grateful for the work that they have been doing and are doing. I'm thankful for the students who are participating in this project, and I know that you're going to learn a great deal through this engagement with students in another country. That alone is a transformative experience, and then the opportunity to meet and interact with women leaders in society takes that to another level. I'm especially thankful to the Stevens Initiative for their support, the government of Morocco for their support, our partners in Morocco who Samira and I are on calls like this just about every day. And so we've gotten to know each other very well. President Whitten, thank you for your leadership at KSU and in taking the time and sharing it with our students and colleagues today. Sharon, also thank you. The community partnerships is a big part of Bridge and being effective. As a campus, as a university, having students interact with our community leaders. So we're very thankful for your participation today as well. President Hayar, Dean Gonagay, thank you so much for making this possible with your team at Hassan II University.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Manal, for the excellent moderation, and we really enjoyed everything. Thank you.
I'm really most welcome.
Manal is our leader.
No, it's an honor working with both of you, and thank you again. Welcome to the audience for being present. We had more than 130 participants, so it's so exciting to see that. And then in that sense, I just want to say bye to everybody. Bye. Thank you. Bye bye.